Picture this. I'm standing at the edge of my own life, toes curling over a precipice I can't quite see, the air thick with the scent of rain and regret. My name's Olivia, and at 42, I've carved out a space in this world that fits me just fine, a suburban home perched on the outskirts of a city that never sleeps, its distant hum a constant reminder of a pace I've chosen to leave behind. The house is quiet tonight, save for the soft patter of autumn rain against the windows, a rhythm that matches the slow beat of my thoughts. I'm in the kitchen, the dim glow of a single overhead light casting long shadows across the counter where I stand. A glass of Merlot cradled in my hands. The wine's deep ruby hue catches the light just so, and I can't help but lose myself in it for a moment, tracing the legs as they slide down the glass, a silent dance of flavor and memory. This life I've built, it's comfortable, safe. I share it with Marcus, my husband of 15 years, a man whose steady presence has become as familiar as the creak of our old hardwood floors. He's 45, a financial consultant who lives for order, always hunched over his laptop with spreadsheets that might as well be written in a language I don't speak. I can picture him now, even though he's in the other room. His brow furrowed, glasses slipping down his nose as he mutters numbers under his breath. We love each other, we do, in that quiet, dependable way that comes from years of shared mornings and late-night conversations that don't need many words anymore. But somewhere along the line, the spark that used to light up our silences flickered out. What's left is a routine we both cling to, a dance we know the steps to by heart, even if the music stopped playing a while ago. I take another sip of the Merlot, letting the rich, earthy notes linger on my tongue. Wine's my escape, my little rebellion against the predictability of it all. It started back in college, just a casual interest, a cheap bottle shared with friends on a dorm room floor, laughter spilling over the rim. But over the years, it grew into something more, a near obsession that I nurture with every carefully chosen vintage, every evening spent poring over labels and imagining myself wandering through sun-drenched vineyards in Tuscany or Bordeaux. I dream of the stories behind each bottle, the hands that picked the grapes, the soil that shaped the taste. It's a world Marcus never quite stepped into with me. He's supportive in his way, always nodding when I ramble on about tannins or terroir, but there's a gentle tease in his eyes, a half smile as he calls me a wine snob. I laugh it off, but sometimes I wonder if he sees how much I need this, how these bottles are more than just a hobby, but a window to a life I haven't dared to chase. I work. I'm still at the kitchen table, the rain tapping a steady rhythm against the window, when Marcus walks in, his footsteps soft but deliberate on the hardwood floor. There's a glint in his eye, something I haven't seen in a while, and before I can ask what's up, he slides a cream-colored envelope across the table toward me. It's heavy in my hands, the paper thick and luxurious, sealed with a little wax stamp that looks almost too fancy for our everyday life. My curiosity spikes as I glance up at him, but he just leans back against the counter, arms crossed, a small, secretive smile tugging at his lips. I break the seal, my fingers trembling just a bit, and pull out an invitation written in elegant, looping script. It's for a private wine tasting at a historic vineyard just an hour's drive from here, scheduled for this coming Saturday. Not just any tasting, though. The card promises a personalized sensory journey crafted just for me. My heart starts racing, thumping so loud I'm sure Marcus can hear it. I read the words again, letting them sink in, and I can't help but grin like a kid on Christmas morning. How did you even manage this? I ask, my voice bubbling with excitement as I wave the invitation in the air. Marcus chuckles, rubbing the back of his neck, and gives me one of those evasive shrugs he's so good at. Oh, I've got my ways, he says, his tone playful, dodging the question like he's guarding some big mystery. I press him a little more, asking if he called in favors or sweet-talked someone, but he just shakes his head, his smile widening. Let's just say I wanted to surprise you, Liv, he finally says, his voice softening. Then he steps closer, his hand resting lightly on the table as he looks right into my eyes and adds, "I just want you to feel alive again." Those words hit me like a warm breeze on a cold day, melting something inside me I didn't even realize had frozen over. For a moment, the distance that's grown between us feels smaller, like this gesture, this thoughtful, unexpected gift, has built a little bridge over the gap. I reach out, squeezing his hand, and I can see the warmth in his eyes, a flicker of the man I fell in love with all those years ago. Fast forward to Saturday morning, and I'm standing in front of my closet, a nervous energy buzzing through me as I pick out what to wear. I settle on a deep burgundy dress, the color rich and bold, mirroring the excitement coursing through my veins. I catch my reflection in the mirror, smoothing the fabric over my hips, and I can't help but smile at how the shade seems to match the occasion perfectly. Marcus pokes his head into the bedroom, already in his casual weekend sweats, and I turn to ask if he's sure he doesn't want to come along. He shakes his head. I'm stepping out of the car now, the gravel crunching under my boots as I take in the sprawling vineyard before me, rows of vines stretching out under a pale autumn sky. The drive here felt like a journey to another world, each mile peeling away the layers of my everyday routine. I adjust the hem of my burgundy dress, feeling a flutter of anticipation in my chest, and make my way toward the ancient stone building at the heart of the estate. The air is crisp, tinged with the faint sweetness of fermenting grapes, and I can't help but breathe it in deep, letting it fill me with a sense of possibility. A weathered wooden sign points me toward the cellar entrance, and as I approach, the heavy iron door creaks open, revealing a narrow stone staircase descending into the earth. I hesitate for just a moment, my hand on the cool, rough wall, before I start down, each step echoing in the tight space. The air grows cooler as I descend, dampness clinging to my skin, and a rich, earthy aroma wraps around me. Oak barrels, aged wine, and something ancient, like the very stones are whispering secrets of harvests long past. At the bottom of the stairs, the cellar opens up, a cavernous space lit by the soft flicker of candlelight. Shadows dance across walls lined with hundreds of dusty bottles, their labels faded but somehow regal in their silence. And there, standing near a small wooden table set with crystal glasses, is a man who must be the sommelier. He turns as I approach, and I'm struck by his presence, charismatic, even from a distance. He's in his late 30s, I'd guess, with sharp features, dark hair swept back just so, and an effortless confidence that seems to fill the room. "Olivia, welcome," he says, his voice warm with a distinct Italian accent, rolling over the syllables of my name like it's a vintage he's savoring. He extends a hand, and I take it, feeling the strength in his grip, a handshake that's firm but somehow personal. His eyes, dark and piercing, seem to study me with an intensity that's both professional and something else, something I can't quite place, but it sends a small shiver down my spine. "I'm Leo," he introduces himself, a slight smile playing on his lips as he gestures to the table. "I've been expecting you. Marcus spoke highly of your palate." I nod, a little flustered by the way his gaze lingers, and manage a smile as I settle into the moment. The tasting begins, and it's like stepping into a dream. Leo pours the first glass, a rare vintage from a vineyard I've only read about in books, the liquid catching the candlelight in a deep, almost hypnotic crimson. He guides me through it, his voice low and smooth, describing notes of blackberry, leather, and a hint of spice that lingers on the finish. I swirl the glass, inhaling deeply, and take a sip, letting the flavors unfold on my tongue. It's exquisite, like a story told in every drop, and I find myself hanging on his every word as he shares the history of the bottle. How the grapes were harvested under a full moon, how the winemaker's family guarded the recipe for generations. His passion mirrors my own, and it's intoxicating in a way that goes beyond the wine. We move through a few more glasses, each one a revelation, and the cellar's intimate atmosphere wraps around us like a cocoon. The flickering light casts golden hues on Leo's face, highlighting the angles of his jaw, the way his hands move with precision and grace as he pours. I'm laughing now, more at ease with each passing minute, charmed by his subtle humor, a dry quip about a stubborn vintage that refused to age gracefully. I share a story of my own, about the first time I fell in love with wine, a cheap bottle at a college party that somehow felt like a gateway to something bigger. Leo listens intently, his head tilted slightly, his eyes never leaving mine, and I feel seen in a way I haven't in years. It's disarming, this connection, and I catch myself wondering if it's just the wine warming my cheeks. I'm standing here in the dim glow of the cellar, the air heavy with the scent of oak and aged secrets, and I'm frozen. Leo's last words linger in my mind, replaying like a haunting melody I can't shake. There's more to taste, Olivia, if you're willing to explore. His voice, smooth as the vintage we just sipped, carries a weight that goes beyond the wine. I feel the gentle pressure of his fingers on my wrist, a fleeting touch that sends a jolt through me, igniting something I've kept buried for far too long. My heart is a drum in my chest, each beat louder than the last, and I'm caught in this moment, teetering on the edge of something I can't name but can't ignore. Inside, I'm a storm. Loyalty to Marcus, my rock, my constant, clashes violently with this sudden, raw wave of desire that's crashing over me. It's not just Leo's charm or the way his dark eyes seem to see straight through to the parts of me I've hidden away. It's the years of emotional hunger, the quiet ache for something more than the safe, predictable life I've built. Down here, in this underground sanctuary, the atmosphere is intoxicating, thick with possibility. The candlelight flickers, casting shadows that dance like my thoughts, wild and untamed. I can almost taste the forbidden on the tip of my tongue, a flavor richer than any wine we've sampled tonight. I pull back just a fraction, my breath catching as I try to find my footing. What do you mean by that? I stammer, my voice barely above a whisper, betraying the turmoil inside. Leo doesn't flinch. His calm smile, that subtle curve of his lips, only deepens the mystery. He tilts his head slightly, studying me as if I'm a vintage he's trying to decipher. Some flavors are meant to be savored in secret, he says, his words dripping with an allure that tightens the knot in my stomach. I don't know if he's talking about the wine or something else entirely, but the ambiguity is a hook, pulling me deeper into this dangerous current. My cheeks are burning now, flushed with a heat that's only partly from the glasses I've already had. The warmth of the wine courses through my veins, loosening the edges of my restraint, making every sensation sharper. The silence in this underground hall is deafening, broken only by the soft rhythm of our breathing, his steady and mine uneven. I can feel the cool dampness of the stone walls around us, a stark contrast to the fire building inside me. Every nerve is alive, hyper-aware of the space between us, of the way the air seems to hum with unspoken tension. I close my eyes for a moment, and Marcus's face flashes behind my lids. His kind eyes, the way they crinkle at the corners when he laughs, the trust he's placed in me without a second thought. He wanted me to feel alive again, didn't he? That's what he said when he handed me the invitation. But did he imagine this? This pull, this reckless urge to step into something new, something dangerous? I've always been the steady one, the one who colors inside the lines. But right now, there's a rebellious whisper in my soul, urging me to leap, to taste the unknown just this once. It's terrifying, exhilarating, and I don't know if I'm strong enough to resist it. Leo steps back, giving me a sliver of space to breathe, but the distance only makes me more aware of his presence. He reaches for the bottle on the table, the dark glass glinting in the candlelight, and pours another measure into a fresh glass. "Let the wine decide," he says, his voice low, almost a challenge as he holds it out to me. His words hang between us, heavy with implication, and I hesitate, my fingers hovering over the stem. Then, with a breath I didn't realize I was holding, I take it, the crystal cool against my skin. I bring the glass to my lips, the rich, dark liquid sliding over my tongue, a complex blend of fruit and earth and something deeper. I'm standing so close to Leo now, the space between us crackling with an energy I can't ignore. The scent of wine, deep and heady, mingles with the earthy musk of oak barrels surrounding us, and there's a heat in the air, a warmth that seems to radiate from him, pulling me in. My heart is a wild thing, pounding against my ribs as if it's trying to break free, and I can feel the weight of every choice I've ever made bearing down on me in this dimly lit cellar. His dark eyes lock onto mine, an unspoken invitation shimmering in their depths, and I'm powerless to look away. It's as if the world has narrowed to just this moment, just us, hidden away in this underground sanctuary where the rules of my life don't seem to apply. I lean in, almost without deciding to, surrendering to the pull as if it's the most natural thing in the world. Our lips meet, soft at first, tentative, like the first sip of a new vintage, testing, exploring. But then it deepens, a hunger I didn't know I had, rising up from somewhere buried inside me, raw and unbridled. The taste of wine lingers on his lips, a sharp tang of blackberry and spice that mixes with the warmth of his breath, and it's intoxicating in a way no bottle could ever be. His stubble grazes my skin, rough and real, grounding me even as my mind spins out of control. My back presses against the cool stone wall behind me, the chill of it a sharp contrast to the fire igniting in my chest, and I brace myself there, one hand splayed against the rough surface, as if it's the only thing keeping me upright. Guilt slams into me, a tidal wave that threatens to drown the thrill coursing through my veins, but I can't stop. Not now. Not when every nerve in my body is alight, every sense overwhelmed by the reality of this betrayal. Marcus's face flickers in my mind again. His steady, trusting gaze, the way he smiled when he handed me that invitation, wanting nothing more than for me to feel alive. And here I am, in the silence of this underground hall, surrounded by the quiet sentinels of wine barrels, shattering that trust with every second I let this continue. The weight of what I'm doing crashes over me, heavy and suffocating, but it only fuels the desperation in the kiss, as if I'm trying to outrun the consequences by losing myself entirely in the moment. I pull away for a breath, my chest heaving, the air between us still charged, electric. My eyes search Leo's face, desperate for a sign of regret, some hint that he feels the same turmoil tearing through me. But there's nothing there except a knowing smirk, a curve of his lips that tells me he understands exactly what this means, and he doesn't care. Those dark eyes hold mine, unapologetic, and it hits me like a punch to the gut. I've crossed a line. There's no undoing this, no stepping back across the threshold I just obliterated. I'm not just Olivia, the loyal wife, the woman who plays it safe anymore. I'm something else now, someone I don't fully recognize, and the realization is both exhilarating and devastating all at once. My hands are trembling, the coolness of the stone wall still under my fingertips as I try to steady myself, but my mind is a whirlwind. The candlelight flickers, casting long, wavering shadows across the cellar, and for a moment, it feels like even the walls are watching, bearing witness to this moment of weakness, this fracture in the life I've so carefully built. I can still taste him on my lips, the memory of that kiss seared into me, and it's a bitter kind of sweetness, a flavor I know I'll carry with me long after I leave this place. My breath comes in shallow gasps, and I'm torn between the urge to step closer again, to chase that fleeting high, and the overwhelming need to run, to escape the suffocating weight of what I've done. I think of Marcus at home, probably still in his sweats, hunched over his laptop, Just as I'm caught in this spiraling storm of guilt and desire, a faint sound pierces the heavy silence of the cellar, a soft creak, like a footstep on old wood. My pulse skyrockets, hammering in my ears as I whip my head toward the noise. There, at the top of the cellar stairs near the entrance, a figure stands, shrouded in shadow against the faint sliver of light seeping through the cracked door above. My breath catches in my throat, a cold dread washing over me as I squint to make out the silhouette. Then, as my eyes adjust, I see him. It's Marcus, my husband, the man I've just betrayed in the most visceral way possible. He's motionless, a dark outline framed by the dim glow behind him, his broad shoulders filling the narrow doorway. I can't see his face at first, not with the light casting his features into obscurity, but I feel the weight of his presence like a physical force, pressing down on me, pinning me in place. My legs turn to jelly, and I grip the edge of the nearest barrel to keep from collapsing. How long has he been there? Did he see everything? The questions claw at my mind, each one sharper than the last, but I can't move, can't speak. I'm a deer caught in headlights, frozen under the gaze I can't yet meet. Then he shifts, just slightly, tilting his head, and a sliver of light catches his face. His expression isn't what I expect. There's no rage, no furrowed brow or clenched jaw. Instead, there's something else, something unreadable at first, a mask I can't decipher. My stomach twists as I study him, desperate for a clue, and then I see it. His eyes, those familiar hazel eyes I've looked into 1,000 times, hold a strange, quiet satisfaction. Not anger, not hurt, but a glint of something almost pleased. A faint smirk tugs at the corner of his mouth, so subtle I might have missed it if I weren't staring so hard, and it sends a shiver racing down my spine, colder than the stone walls surrounding me. It's as if he's been watching a play unfold, a scene he scripted himself and now he's savoring the climax. The realization hits me like a freight train. He knew. He's been watching, maybe not just now, but all along, orchestrating this moment with a precision that terrifies me. The invitation, the private tasting, the way he insisted I go alone, every piece falls into place with a sickening click. My chest tightens, a mix of fear and confusion swirling inside me. What game is he playing? What does he want from this? I open my mouth to say something, anything, but the words die before they can form. Marcus doesn't speak either. He just stands there, his gaze locked on mine, heavy with unspoken meaning, pinning me to the spot as surely as if he'd reached out and grabbed me. Behind me, I hear Leo shift, his boots scuffing softly against the stone floor. "I'll give you a moment," he murmurs, his voice polite, detached, as if he's just excused himself from a casual conversation rather than a moment that's shattered my world. I don't turn to look at him, but I feel the air shift as he moves away, his footsteps fading into the deeper shadows of the cellar, leaving me alone under Marcus's unrelenting stare. The silence that follows is suffocating, thicker than the damp air around us, and I feel exposed, raw, like every layer of myself has been peeled back for him to see. I force myself to move, taking a shaky step toward the stairs, my legs unsteady beneath me as if the ground itself might give way. Each step feels heavier than the last, the echo of my boots ringing in the quiet like a confession. I expect a confrontation, a storm of accusations or questions, something to break this eerie calm. But as I reach the base of the stairs and look up at him, Marcus only nods, that faint, enigmatic smile still playing on his lips. It's not a smile of forgiveness or even mockery. It's something deeper, something I can barely comprehend, as if he holds a secret that transcends our conflict, leaving me with a sense of uneasy peace. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.